Life on Mars. There are planets of all sizes in our solar system. The word solar represents the sun, which is the star that provides all the planets with heat energy to support life. On Earth, we are just in the right place to support life. It is neither too hot nor too cold. It's perfect, said the science teacher as he scribbled on the blackboard. Cheekio Chimp let out a yawn and turned towards Elzina Elephant. I wish there was life in this classroom. I keep falling asleep, chuckled Cheekio. Elzina replied quietly, Don't be so rude. Listen, and you might learn something. Cheekio reached into his school bag and placed his empty sweet wrappers onto his desk behind the science book, which he had propped up. He carefully scrunched the wrappers into small balls and placed them on his desk in the line of fire to the bin, which was sitting adjacent to the teacher's desk. What are you doing? Whispered Himaku Hippo, who was watching from his desk behind Cheekio. You're going to get caught and get into big trouble, said Zebgarn Zebra uncomfortably. Don't worry, I'm just tidying up, chuckled Cheekio. Cheekio took aim and flicked the rolled-up wrappers towards the bin. The first one missed. Almost, said Cheekio with excitement in his voice. He flicked another. It too missed by a few inches. That was close, smirked Cheekio. After several attempts and many near misses, the bin was surrounded by empty rolled-up sweet wrappers. There was one more left. If I miss this one, I am going to have to reload, which means I need to eat a sweet from my bag, said Cheekio, grinning as he aimed. The teacher carried on writing. The school animals kept listening. Cheekio took aim. Cheekio pulled back his trigger finger, closed one eye, took his final aim, and then fired. The wrapper flew into the air like a cannonball and approached its target. The bin was waiting with its mouth wide open, waiting to be fed. As if in slow motion, the small ball hit the rim of the bin, bounced up for the whole class to see, and then fell and disappeared from sight into the jaws of the goal. Direct hit! Shouted Cheekio as he jumped up with his arms raised in jubilation. At that moment, the teacher swung round and threw his chalk onto the floor. Have you been eating in class again? Said the teacher angrily. Cheekio nodded his head. No, sir. Bring me your sweets. I am going to confiscate them as I always do. When are you ever going to learn? Said the teacher sternly. The teacher placed the sweets into his desk, with all the other confiscated sweets from earlier encounters. Cheekio sat back down and gazed out of the classroom window. So, there are a lot of planets out there. There must be life on other planets, surely, thought Cheekio as he scratched his chin. Cheekio looked and studied the chart on the wall, displaying all the planets, and then looked out into the sunshine. The planets must be so far away I can't see one, he exclaimed. If there were others living on the planets, I wonder what they would look like, wondered Cheekio, as he gazed further out of the classroom window into the mysterious sky and beyond. I wish I was an astronaut. I would visit all the planets and make new discoveries, meet new aliens, and then tell the world my story. Cheekio imagined himself as an astronaut, his white spacesuit, boots and goldfish bowl helmet. He looked and felt superior. It will soon be time for launch, thought Cheekio, as he nervously made his way to the rocket. He was followed by his astronaut colleagues, Elzina, Himaku, and Zebgarn. They climbed the steep staircase. One by one they climbed into the rocket. They carefully sat in their seats. Cheekio and Elzina sat at the front, with Himaku and Zebgarn directly behind. They put on their seatbelts and waited for the countdown. There was a sudden sound of thunder, and the rocket began to shudder as the fuel ignited for liftoff. This is it, teen! Get ready for the journey of your life, said Cheekio, as he gave the thumbs up to the other 3 members of his team. The countdown began. 10, 9, 8, 7. Oh no! I've forgot to take my library book back, yelled Cheekio. Well, you will need to do it when we get back, screamed Elzina as she hid her eyes in fear. 3, 2, 1, lift off! The rocket began to move with a roar and was suddenly launched into deep space. The rocket made its way through the darkness of space and headed towards the sun on its journey to Venus. Do we really want to go to Venus? Asked Cheekio. It's really hot there, as it's closer to the sun. It's hot enough on Earth, especially in the jungle if there's no shade, replied Elzina as she looked out of the rocket window. Let's go to Mars. It's a little cooler there. I need to get out of this suit. It's a little too tight, wriggled Himaku in his seat. That's a good idea. Mars is the perfect place to visit. It's my favourite colour. Red. We should call it the Red Planet, said a proud Zebgan. Cheekio grabbed the controls and made a right turn to face the opposite direction and set his navigation controls to reach Mars. Mars, here we come, shouted Cheekio in excitement. The rocket made its way towards Mars and after a lengthy journey slowly began to descend as it approached the planet. Slowly and gently, the spaceship landed onto the rocky surface of the misty planet. The monitor shows that the air is safe to breathe. Therefore, you may take off your spacesuits and disembark and explore with caution, said Cheekio as he led the way. One by one, the astronauts climbed out of the rocket and explored the ground for life. It's very foggy here. I didn't expect this, said Elzina as she scratched her head. If there is fog, it means there is water present. If there is air, it means that this planet may support life, said Himaku as he kicked a rock. I don't know if you lot have noticed, but this planet does not appear to be red in colour. And if you look up, there is a big ring circling us, exclaimed Zebgan as he looked up into the sky. Cheekio, they all shouted. We are on Saturn. Just as they all calmed down, a huge roar was heard, coming from a cave a few meters away. How dare you invade my land? Roared the beast. I am Lizarov Lion, and I am king of this land. Lizarov was huge. He had a large face with ferocious, sharp teeth and a dark green mane on a large green body with brown eyes. The 4 animals looked at each other and then quickly ran as fast as they could to escape from the alien. Lizarov gave chase and blew fire from his mouth as he did. Oh no! This alien is chasing us, and he has a secret weapon. He can breathe fire, shouted Cheekio. It's the worst case of bad breath I've ever seen, he added, chuckling as he ran. Keep running, everyone, and head towards the rocket, screamed Elzina as she sprinted as fast as she could. Oh, wait for me, said a panting Himaku. Zebgan, who was the fastest of the 4 astronauts and had many medals to show for it, reached the spaceship first and climbed aboard. He was followed by Cheekio, Elzina, and finally Himaku, who just missed being caught by Lizarov as he looked over his shoulder. Fire up the engines, shouted Himaku as he closed the rocket door. Cheekio pressed the start button of the rocket, but nothing happened. He tried again, but still nothing happened. Hurry up, screamed Elzina. The beast is about to set fire to the rocket. The rocket won't ignite. The fuel is flowing, but the spark system has failed. We're doomed, panicked Cheekio. Cheekio gave the button one last push, and as he did, Lizarov blew fire from his mouth onto the rocket. Boom! The rocket burst into life, and as it did, the thrust of the engines pushed Lizarov into a pool, which soaked him completely as watched by Elzina and the others. I bet that cooled him down, laughed Cheekio. Bang! Have you heard a word I have said in this lesson? Asked the teacher in a furious tone as he punched the top of his table. We have a school inspector coming today, and if this is the way you behave, I will be disciplined for your behaviour, said the angry teacher. Cheekio, what is the nearest planet to the sun? Mercury, replied Cheekio in an instant. Okay, what is the name of the planet in between Earth and Mercury? Asked the teacher curiously. Cheekio thought hard and scratched his chin. Venice, I think. The whole class laughed. I mean Venus, laughed Cheekio. The whole class stopped laughing and stared at the door. In walked the school inspector, who was holding a notebook in her hand, and sat down at the back of the classroom. Final question. What is the name of the planet with the ring that circles it? That's easy, said Cheekio confidently. It's Saturn. Excellent. You were paying attention, remarked the teacher. Alzina, Himaku and Zedgan looked at Cheekio in amazement. There is a big green lion that lives there and breathes fire, responded Cheekio. Report to the headmaster immediately, ordered the teacher as he shook his head. Cheekio left the room. The school inspector that was sitting at the back of the classroom stood up and made her way to the teacher's table. That student was answering every question correctly. Give them a chance and join in with the jokes to make them feel at ease, said the inspector as she wrote on her notebook. And by the way, if you're going to eat sweets in class, please have the decency to place your litter into the bin, said the inspector angrily, as she pointed to the bin, which was surrounded by balls of sweet wrappers. The whole class erupted into laughter. Cheekio Chimp, problem solver. I really want to go on holiday, somewhere nice and warm this summer, said Cheekio as he ate his school dinner. I've already asked my mother and she says as long as my exam results are good, then I will be allowed to go, replied Alzina as she took a bite from her apple. Where is the school trip this year? Asked Himaku as he read his comic. I think it's one of the islands over there, replied Zebgan as he pointed through the open window. All the friends looked out of the school canteen window and smiled at the prospect of having a fun time together on their annual school trip. School trips were always fun. Cheekio Chimp was always getting into mischief. He was always getting into trouble and getting his friends in trouble too. However, they were all still very close. On last year's school trip, Cheekio shouted, "Man overboard!" and everybody rushed to the edge of the ship and looked into the sea. When the captain realised there was no one in the water, he asked Cheekio why he shouted, "Man overboard!" And Cheekio replied by saying, "I said, man, I'm bored," and chuckled. Will your mother let you go this year after what you did last time? Asked Himaku, shaking his head and grinning. I'm sure she saw the funny side of it, laughed Cheekio. After their school lunch, the four friends went to their last lessons and then made their way home. Good luck with your parents, Cheekio. I hope they give you permission to go on the school trip this year, said Alzina, giving a thumbs up. Don't worry, I will be there no problem, replied Cheekio and returned the thumbs up. Hi, Mother. Is Father home? Asked Cheekio as he made his way through the front door. No, dear, replied Mother. I'm just going to tidy my room. Would you like a cup of tea before I clean my room? Asked Cheekio as he made his way upstairs. No, thanks, replied Mother. Are you feeling okay? She asked in a confused tone. I'm fine, thanks, giggled Cheekio as he rubbed his hands. His game plan was unfolding. Cheekio quickly tidied his room. He threw all the clothes that were lying in a heap on the bedroom floor into his cupboard, and all the books, comics and sweets were thrown under his bed. Perfect! Nice and clean in 2 minutes, thought Cheekio as he admired his work. Cheekio made his way downstairs and decided it was time. As he made it halfway down, he asked in his best telephone voice the crucial question. Mother, I've tidied my room, expecting good results at school. Do you think... Before Cheekio could finish his sentence, his father walked in through the front door and made his way to the kitchen to greet Mother. I know what you're going to ask, son, and the answer is no, shouted Mother. Ask your father, she added. Father, would you like a cup of tea? Asked Cheekio as he leaned over the banister and peered into the kitchen from the stairs. Yes, please, replied Father. Can I go on the school trip this year? Asked Cheekio as he pressed his palms. Will you behave? Asked Father from behind the kitchen door. Yes, and I will do anything you ask. Please, Father, you are number 1 after Mother, said Cheekio as he fell to his knees and prayed. You can only go if you solve this problem, replied Father. What is the problem? Asked Cheekio as he got to his feet. You have 3 items, a large block of cheese, a mouse and a cat. You have to take the 3 items one at a time from this island to another island. You cannot take more than 1 item at the same time, or your boat will sink. You must keep all the items safe. Do not let the cat eat the mouse, or the mouse eat the cheese. Don't worry, the cat hates cheese. Solve that problem, then I will let you go. That's easy. I will solve it as soon as possible, replied Cheekio, his arms raised high into the air. Cheekio was rushing to school to join his friends and tell them the good news. He had a skip in his step, and he was delighted at the prospect of going to the school trip later that year. I can't wait for the school trip. It's going to be fun, thought Cheekio. Elzina Elephant, Himaku Hippo and Zebgan Zebra were waiting at the school gates as arranged the previous day. What time do you call this? Asked Elzina as she looked at her watch. Forget the time, smiled Cheekio. Why are you so happy? It's science first lesson. You hate science, said Zebgan as he scratched his head. Looks like Cheekio got the thumbs up for the school trip, responded Himaku as he stared at his happy little friend. That's right, I can go, and all I have to do is solve a little problem that my father has given me, replied Cheekio. The 3 friends smiled at Cheekio and congratulated him. What is the problem that needs solving? Asked Himaku as they all walked towards their classes. Cheekio explained the problem to the 3 friends, who all listened with interest. Take the cat first to the island, said Elzina confidently. If I do that, then the mouse will eat the cheese, replied Cheekio, shaking his head. Take the cheese first, replied Himaku, looking pleased. If I do that, then the cat will eat the mouse, replied Cheekio, looking worried. Then you have to take the mouse first. That is the final option, replied Zebgan, smiling in delight. That's right. That would leave the cat with the cheese, and the cat hates cheese, and all would be safe, said Cheekio as he jumped for joy. But what would I take next? The cat or the cheese? They all thought about it. Morning lessons came and had finished. Lunch came and had finished. Afternoon lessons came and had finished. It was time to go home, and still the 4 friends could not decide which item to take next. If we take the cheese next and go back for the cat, then the mouse will eat the cheese on the other island, so that won't work. If we take the cat next and go back for the cheese, the cat will eat the mouse on the other island, said Cheekio, looking very puzzled. I think your parents have set you a problem that can't be solved. Basically, it's a trick question. It's just a polite way of them saying you can't go on the school trip, replied Himaku, as he looked to the ground in sympathy. There has to be a way. There has to be a way. There has to be a way, said Cheekio, as he stroked his chin in deep thought. The four friends decided to go to the coast and look at the views of all the islands. It was a beautiful day. The sun was shining, the birds were singing in the trees, the wind whistled through the jungle. I guess I will be going somewhere local, while all of you go on the school trip, said Cheekio, as he threw a pebble across the deep blue sea. The pebble bounced once on the sea surface and then disappeared from sight, just like Cheekio's school trip. Don't worry, I'm sure if we all put our minds to it, we will solve the problem, reassured Elzina. All four friends looked as far as they could into the sea and beyond. They counted many islands. There was a very small one, two larger ones, and one very large island. On a dry day when the tide was out, the friends used to walk to the smallest of the islands and have a picnic. But today the tide was in, and all they could do was throw pebbles into the sea. A boat nearby was very old and would not hold everyone. Suddenly, there was a very large splash in the sea. Who threw that large pebble into the sea? Asked Cheekio as he looked at his friends. I did. The four friends turned around, and facing them was their arch-enemy, Lizarov lion. He was huge. He had a large mane on a large face, with evil green eyes, sharp teeth, and razor claws. Finally, I have all four. You cannot run from me now, roared Lizarov. Please, we are at your mercy. Don't harm us, your highness, quivered Elzina. The four friends were trapped between the sea and Lizarov. There was no way of escape. This was another problem that needed to be solved, and Lizarov was not going to be helping. Rather than attacking all of us, would you accept a challenge? Begged Cheekio. What kind of challenge? Roared Lizarov. If we take this boat to that small island and have our fight there, then whoever wins can come back and the loser has to stay there until the tide goes out, said Cheekio as he pointed to the old boat. Lizarov thought about it and immediately accepted the challenge. Everyone climbed into the boat and the boat began to sink. Somebody get off! Roared Lizarov. Elzina, the largest of the animals, got off, but the boat was still too heavy. Somebody else get off! Roared Lizarov. I will get off, replied Cheekio as he made his way out of the boat. Stop right there! Roared Lizarov as he pinned Cheekio to the floor of the rotten boat. I will get out, said Himaku, the second largest of the four friends. Zebgan began to row the boat. He did not want Cheekio to row, as he knew that his little friend needed all the energy in the world to fight Lizarov. Eventually, they reached the small island. Lizarov skipped over the shallow water by the beach and began to stretch his limbs in preparation for the battle. That's better! I am now ready for this so-called challenge, laughed Lizarov. Lizarov looked around at Cheekio and watched in disbelief at the two friends rowing as fast as they could back to the jungle. Eventually, they joined their friends back at the jungle coast and jumped around in joy and waved to Lizarov, who could only look on in shock. I solved the problem, chuckled Cheekio. What do you mean? Asked Zebgan. On the first trip, you take the mouse and leave the cat and cheese behind. All three are safe. On the next trip, you take the cat, but on that trip, you bring the mouse back with you. On the next trip, you take the cheese and leave the mouse behind. The cheese and the cat are now on the small island. Finally, you go back for the mouse. Problem solved, laughed Cheekio as he made a fist pump. That's excellent! School trip is going ahead, screamed Elzina. What about poor Lizarov? How will he get back? She added. Let him enjoy his little holiday on that island. He can walk back when the tide is out. In 10 hours, laughed Cheekio. All the friends laughed and waved at Lizarov. The end. The Hunter. Never seems to be anything decent on TV these days. It's always documentaries or news, and it's always bad news, moaned Cheekio as he flicked through the channels. Why can't they make proper programmes? He continued. Cheekio Chimp held the remote control in his hand and pointed it at the TV. Each time he pressed the button, he nodded in disgust and uttered the words, "Rubbish! Rubbish! Rubbish!" Cheekio was just about to give up when he suddenly saw a tiger writhing in pain. "I wonder what's going on here?" Cheekio asked himself. "Maybe he had a bad lunch," he chuckled. Cheekio continued to watch the programme with interest. The camera zoomed in on the tiger, and it was then apparent the poor tiger was injured and in a great deal of pain. Then a voice said, "Just another example of how the poor defenseless animals of the jungle are being treated by the evilest predators on earth, humans." "That is absolutely disgusting," said Cheekio in disbelief. "Who would do this kind of thing, and why?" asked Cheekio as he shrugged his shoulders. "This is the work of the hunter, and all in the name of sport," replied the voice on TV. Cheekio looked confused. "I don't know which is more shocking, the injured tiger or the man on TV that just answered my question," thought Cheekio as he scratched his head. Just then, Cheekio's phone made a bleep to signify a message. Cheekio checked his phone and scrolled down to the messages. "Whoa, I almost forgot I need to get going, as that was a reminder from my dear friend Elzina to meet up at the pool," muttered Cheekio as he made for the front door. Elzina Elephant looked at her phone and noted that Cheekio had read the message she had sent a few moments ago. "Cheekio should be on his way," said Elzina as she put her phone away. "He is always late," replied Himaku Hippo, nodding his head. "Up to mischief, no doubt," said Zebgan as he stared back into the darkness of the jungle. The three friends were waiting patiently for Cheekio by the pool as usual. It was a beautiful day on a warm, sunny afternoon. Suddenly, the pleasant scene was replaced with carnage. The birds flew from the trees, and animals of all sizes and descriptions began to stampede past the pool and towards the jungle. "Run for your lives!" The three friends looked up into the trees, and swinging from a low branch was Cheekio, screaming, "Run!" Elzina, Himaku and Zebgan ran as fast as they could in the same direction as the other animals that had fled. Himaku and Elzina, the slowest of the three, were tiring very quickly. Zebgan was way ahead. Cheekio kept an eye on the chaser from the safety of the trees. In the distance, Cheekio could see a familiar image charging towards Himaku and Elzina. "Oh no!" shrieked Cheekio. "It's Lizarov!" The ferocious Lizarov lion normally looked very fierce, but today he looked concerned. He quickly caught up with the two large, slow friends and roared, "Out of my way!" Then he overtook the two animals, who looked at each other in amazement. "Who is he looking for today, if it's not us?" asked Elzina as she caught her breath. "Maybe he's chasing Zebgan," replied Himaku as he collapsed to the floor in exhaustion. "He is not chasing anyone. Lizarov is the one being chased," replied Cheekio as he pointed towards the pool. Cheekio climbed down the tree and joined his friends Elzina and Himaku, who were hiding in some bushes. They could hear the roar of the predator that was chasing Lizarov, but were unable to see because of all the dust that had blown into the air when it stopped suddenly. Once the dust began to settle, they could see the huge beast. It had two large eyes that were shining brightly, 4 muddy wheels, and a body made of armor of the strongest metal. It was a jeep. Within the jeep was someone holding a pair of binoculars, scanning the area. Who is that? Asked Alzina as she peered over the bush. I have never seen it before, whispered Himaku nervously. I know who it is. I saw it on TV earlier today, and it's the most feared predator on Earth, a human. A human? He doesn't look very frightening or fierce like Lizarov lion, replied Alzina. That hat, single eyeglass and moustache makes him look ridiculous, Himaku sniggered. In the program, the human injured a large tiger. He must have some strength, confirmed Cheekio. The human put away his binoculars, turned his vehicle around and drove off in the direction he came. Again, the dust masked his retreat, and once settled, he had disappeared. We need to be extra careful. I will keep an eye out when I'm up in the trees until he leaves, said Cheekio. The three friends agreed, and moments later Zebgon, who was hiding in the tall grass, joined them and was informed of the hunter. The next day, the four friends planned to go on a search for the hunter. Cheekio was high up in the trees, Zebgon walked through the tall grass which camouflaged him from sight, and Alzina and Himaku walked shoulder to shoulder, weaving in and out of the trees and bushes. It was very quiet, not a single sound from the jungle. The only sound that could be heard was Cheekio swinging from branch to branch, and the rustling of Zebgon in the tall grass. Alzina and Himaku were silent as they tiptoed onwards. In the distance they could see Lizarov lion making his way to a clearing in the jungle. Just above him was a huge cage dangling under the branch of a tree. It was being suspended by a rope which was tied behind the tree. Also behind the tree was a dark, shadowy figure. Suddenly, a large crashing sound was heard, and then a mighty roar. How dare you do this to me? I am king of the jungle, roared Lizarov. Lizarov was trapped in the cage which had fallen on top of him. Someone had cut the rope. It was the hunter. Oh no, the hunter's trapped Lizarov, shrieked Alzina. Is that good or bad news? Whispered Himaku. Lizarov is a member of the jungle family. Despite our differences, he is still our king, replied Zebgon as he emerged from the tall grass. We have to help poor Lizarov lion, demanded Cheekio as he thought of a plan. We have to lure the hunter away from the cage and then release Lizarov, suggested Cheekio. I wonder if he likes cookies, asked Alzina. Oh, don't be silly. He is a hunter. He wants more than cookies. I wouldn't mind one, though, replied Himaku as he drawled. There's no time for a picnic. Let's save Lizarov, snapped Zebgon. Cheekio ordered Himaku to dig a hole and Alzina to fetch some twigs and branches. Once the hole was dug, Alzina covered it with the twigs and small branches. Finally, Zebgon covered the hole with leaves. Perfect! Now let's get the plan into action, said Cheekio and gave the thumbs up. The hunter was in his jeep and was keeping guard of his prize. Lizarov was pacing inside the cage, feeling helpless in his temporary home. Cheekio had swung to the tree that had the cage attached to it and kept his eye on the hunter. Yoo-hoo! Shouted Zebgon. The hunter looked up from his jeep and then jumped out of it and ran towards Zebgon. Zebgon began to run. The hunter was chasing. Zebgon could see the hole that was covered with leaves. He looked over his shoulder and slowed down and could see the hunter not too far behind. Once the hunter was only a few inches away, Zebgon jumped over the hole. The hunter slipped on the leaves and disappeared from sight. He had fallen into the trap. Cheekio tied the rope to Alzina's trunk. Pull! Shouted Cheekio. Pull! Shouted Lizarov. Slowly the cage rose and eventually Lizarov was free. Where is that rogue? How dare he try to capture me? Roared Lizarov. They all headed towards the hole. Looking up at the five animals was the hunter, covered in mud. How does that feel? Laughed Cheekio as he pointed at the angry hunter. Get me out! Shouted the hunter. On one condition, you leave the jungle, never to return, demanded Cheekio. The hunter agreed. They threw the rope in the hole and Alzina pulled him to the top. The hunter got into his jeep and drove off into the distance. I have to say a big thank you, said Lizarov as he shook each of the friends' hands. Let's have a photo together, he continued. They all agreed. Lizarov placed his camera phone onto a rock and set the timer for a group photograph. He returned to the group and stood in front of his new friends and stared back at the camera phone. Say cheese, everyone, said Lizarov. Moments later, Lizarov returned to the phone camera to see the photo. You rotten scoundrels, roared Lizarov. The only person in the photo was Lizarov. All you could see of the four friends was their legs as they ran off. The end. Monkey puzzle. Cheekio Chimp was running as fast as he could. Every few strides he would look back over his shoulder to determine if the balance of safety was in his grasp. Cheekio weaved in and out of the bushes, jumped over streams, and reached for the low branches and vines that hung like lifelines throughout the jungle. I am going to catch you and teach you a lesson, roared Lizarov. I hope it's not a science lesson, laughed Cheekio as he looked back at the ferocious beast. Lizarov Lion was a menacing sight. He was huge, had large fangs and claws that were designed for one thing only, and today they had Cheekio's name on them. Following from a safe distance were Cheekio's friends, Elzina Elephant, Himaku Hippo, and Zebgan Zebra. I hope he outruns Lizarov, said Elzina as she gasped for air. Cheekio just needs to find the right tree and climb out of reach, panted Himaku. He won't outrun Lizarov, but he might outsmart him, replied Zebgan. Lizarov was gaining on Cheekio and reached out with his huge paw with claws showing. Just as Lizarov went to strike the cheeky little monkey, Cheekio made a leap and grasped a branch, and in a flash was halfway up the tree. Lizarov skidded and came to a stop just a few yards from the pool. I will get you next time, roared Lizarov as he stared at Cheekio from the foot of the tree. You say that every time, Cheekio chuckled. Lizarov watched Cheekio swing from tree to tree and disappear from sight. Mother, the bath is blocked again. What should I do? Shouted Cheekio from the bathroom upstairs. Use the plunger, darling, replied Mother, who was busy cooking breakfast downstairs. Cheekio was already running late for school, so he placed the plunger in the bath and began to pump the water away. Cheekio applied a lot of pressure to speed matters up and eventually snapped the small wooden pole. Oh no! Shouted Cheekio as he inspected the damage. Mother, the plunger is broken. I'm sorry, said Cheekio as he made his way downstairs. Don't worry, get it repaired at the DIY store and get a spare one too on your way back from school today, replied Mother from behind the kitchen door. Cheekio quickly guzzled his breakfast and drank his favourite drink, banana milkshake, in one large gulp. On his way out the front door, Cheekio quickly glanced at the long mirror that was hanging on the wall beside the front door. That moustache suits me, said Cheekio as he admired the white froth that lay on his top lip. Maybe next time, said Cheekio as he wiped off the milkshake. Outside were Elzina, Himaku and Zebgan, and they all made their way to school. The four friends sat down in the classroom and opened their books to the page requested by the teacher. The tree that you see in front of you is often found in South America and is known to grow in Chile and Argentina. It is a beautiful tree and is known as the monkey puzzle. Monkey puzzle? Said Cheekio in astonishment. Why is it called that? He added. It is known as the monkey puzzle because there isn't a monkey on this planet that can climb it, replied the teacher as she held the book in the air showing the tree. I can climb any tree, boasted Cheekio and stood up. Maybe this is one that is just too hard, said Elzina as she studied the picture of the tree. The monkey puzzle tree had no low branches, and the leaves looked sharp and prickly. If that so-called monkey puzzle was in this jungle, I would climb it every day, said Cheekio. I thought you might say that, Mr. Cheekio Chimp, replied Teacher. I have a task for you. There is a monkey puzzle tree planted beyond all other trees in the jungle. It is located near the pool. If you can find it, climb it, then I will believe you, said the teacher. No problem. I love a challenge, replied Cheekio as he rubbed his palms together in delight. The teacher reached into her desk and pulled out a flag. Place this red flag on the highest point of the tree, and that will be the proof that you made it to the top, said the teacher. Sure, that's right up my tree, laughed Cheekio. The four friends were quickly making their way to the jungle. Cheekio was being very impatient as he was delayed at the DIY store and wanted to show that he was true to his word when it came to tree climbing. I can't wait to place this flag on that tree and prove there is no such thing as a puzzle that a monkey can't climb, said Cheekio as he checked his bag for the flag. Where is that tree? wondered Cheekio. It's beyond all the trees. That's what the teacher said, replied Elzina. I think it's near the pool, pointed Himaku. We will look from the ground and you climb the trees and see if you can see the monkey puzzle from up there, suggested Zebgan. Cheekio climbed a tree and began to look as far as he could towards the pool, but he saw nothing. He began to swing from tree to tree and kept looking, but still there was no monkey puzzle in sight. Maybe teacher was playing a prank on me, shouted Cheekio from a treetop. The three friends looked up at Cheekio and began to laugh. I think you're right. That tree only grows in South America, remember? Grinned Elzina. Just then, Cheekio began to gaze into the distance. Beyond the trees in the jungle was a clearing, and beyond that was a pool. Sitting on its own was a tree. It was a tree that Cheekio had never seen before. It was just like the picture in the book at school. It was the monkey puzzle. Cheekio climbed down the tree and gestured towards the new find. Follow me, said Cheekio with excitement in his voice. The three friends followed Cheekio. They looked at each other and wondered where Cheekio was leading them. Eventually, the darkness of the jungle disappeared and was replaced by the sunlight in the clearing. The four friends looked back at the jungle. The trees swayed in the warm air. Beyond the trees, they saw a pool. It was not the usual pool they went to on a hot day to cool off. This was a new pool. Next to the pool was what they were all looking for. It's so beautiful, said Elzina as she admired the tree. It's not the tallest tree I have ever seen. Maybe climbing it would not be so difficult after all, said Himaku as he circled the tree. There are no low branches, nothing to hold on to. How are you going to climb it? Asked Zebgan. I don't know. Anyway, the leaves and thorns look as sharp as Lizarov's claws, replied Cheekio as he scratched his head in deep thought. My claws are sharper. The four friends did not even look around to see who had just roared. The voice was a familiar one. It was from their arch-enemy, Lizarov Lion. Lizarov circled the four friends. He was very angry. Cheekio was always playing pranks on Lizarov and was always escaping from his claws. Where are you going to run, little one? There are no trees for you to climb here. And I know you won't be able to climb this one, roared Lizarov. Suddenly, without warning, Lizarov pounced at Cheekio. Elzina, Himaku and Zebgan ran towards the jungle and after a safe distance hid in the bushes. They looked back and saw Cheekio run around the monkey puzzle tree with Lizarov chasing. Every so often, Cheekio would try to grip the trunk of the tree, but was unable to, and the branches were too high. Lizarov was closing in. Cheekio reached into his bag and threw a schoolbook at Lizarov, but missed. Lots of dust was being generated by the chase, and the last thing the three friends saw was Cheekio throw another book at Lizarov. It was a direct hit. Lizarov was thrown off balance and skidded on the ground, throwing more dust into the air. Lizarov slowly got to his feet, and once the dust settled, Cheekio had disappeared.
"Where are you?"
roared Lizarov. There was no familiar, cheeky reply. Eventually, Lizarov gave up and decided to walk back into the jungle with his head down in defeat. He passed the three friends, but did not notice them cowering behind the bushes. Once Lizarov was out of sight, the three friends made their way towards the monkey puzzle tree.
"I wonder where Cheekio is,"
said Elzina, looking confused.
"Maybe Lizarov caught him. I couldn't see for dust,"
replied Himaku as he wiped a tear from his eye. "What is that? On top of the monkey puzzle tree," pointed Zebgan. They all looked up and could not believe their eyes. There, on the top of the tree, waving about in the wind, was the red flag. Next to the red flag was Cheekio, standing tall and proud, which was quite a feat for a small monkey.
"How did you get up there?"
asked Elzina. "The same way I am going to get down," replied Cheekio. Cheekio reached into his bag, pulled out the 2 plungers that he had collected from the DIY store, and pushed them onto the trunk of the tree. He slowly and carefully climbed down the tree, using the plungers as suction to support his weight. Within seconds, he was back on the ground with his friends. "Monkey puzzle! It's no puzzle to me!" screamed Cheekio as he pulled the thorns from his hands and feet. The 3 friends burst out in laughter. The end. A kind of magic. I wonder how they do their stuff, wondered Cheekio as he lay on his bed reading his book of magic. Cheekio turned page after page and looked on in amazement at all the magic tricks that were on display. Surely they are all tricks. Magic isn't real, or is it? Thought Cheekio as he threw his book onto his bed and stared at his bedroom mirror. I can't hang about here too long or I will be late for school. Once again. Just then there was a knock on the front door. Cheekio Chimp rushed down the stairs and grabbed a cereal bar from the kitchen cupboard before rushing out to meet his friends. Elzina Elephant, Himaku Hippo and Zebgan Zebra. There you are, said Elzina impatiently as she stared at Cheekio from behind her glasses. Busy reading your magic books? She asked.
Oh, need to be quick. It's double PE first thing this morning,
remarked Himaku. We will only make it on time if we jog a little of the way, replied Zebgan. If only we had a magic carpet, we will get there in no time, laughed Cheekio. I love this class. Play everything. PE is my favourite subject, said Cheekio as he climbed the high ropes. It means physical education, silly, replied Elzina as she shook her head and made her way to the floor mats. I love PE too, said Zebgan as he jogged on the spot. But I prefer to be outdoors on the track. I just love to run, he added. Oh, I'm not a big fan of PE, replied Himaku. I prefer art. It's so soothing and peaceful. The PE teacher blew her whistle and made everyone jump with fright. Today we are going to do circuit training, she said. There are going to be 4 stations, and on each station there will be a different exercise. The duration will be 1 minute per exercise, and then you move on to the next station. The 4 friends looked at each other and made their way to the stations. The teacher blew her whistle to indicate the start of the circuit training. On Station 1, Cheekio began to do push-ups. Station 2 was mountain climbs, a difficult exercise for many, but one that was especially difficult for Elzina. Station 3 was jogging on the spot, which Zebgarn loved. And finally, on Station 4, Himaku struggled with star jumps. After several minutes, the teacher blew her whistle again. 5 more minutes, she shouted with a grin as she watched the class huffing and puffing in exhaustion.
I wish I could make her disappear,
puffed Cheekio as he whispered to Elzina.
I think we should all start going to the gym after school. Our fitness levels are very poor,
puffed a very tired Elzina, her glasses resting on the tip of her nose.
I agree,
replied Zebgarn.
Oh, do we have to?
replied Himaku as he lay on his back with his eyes closed. Cheekio placed his water bottle into his bag and added a jar of honey as a refreshing treat for after his workout. He swung from tree to tree as he headed to the gym to join his friends. As he approached the gym, he accidentally knocked into a beehive and disturbed all the bees inside. The angry bees chased Cheekio, and he was only saved by the revolving door at the gym that separated him from the insects.
Oh, that was close,
said Cheekio as he looked over his shoulder at the yellow and white swarm beyond the door. The gym was full. Everyone who was keen on being fit was there. There were so many weights of different shapes and sizes. There were many machines. The machines were designed for every muscle group.
Which exercise should we do first?
asked Elzina, who looked confused at the vast range of equipment on display.
I feel like lifting weights,
replied Himaku as he flexed his muscles.
I want to use the climbing wall. It makes me feel at home,
laughed Cheekio as he stared to the top of the wall.
Let's all start with the treadmills,
replied Zebgarn.
Once we are warmed up, we can then proceed to the other equipment,
he added as he stretched his legs. They all made their ways to the treadmills and began to run. Zebgarn was the best runner and was running with ease. Cheekio was comfortable when he ran, but preferred to climb. Elzina and Himaku, the largest of the 4 friends, struggled but kept on running. They may have been large, but they were also very strong. Once the 4 had finished running, they made their way to the cross trainer. Thereafter, they rode the stationary bike, followed by the rowing machine.
That was great,
said Cheekio as he got up from the rowing machine.
Let's all finish with some weight training,
he added as he wiped his forehead with the back of his hand. They all marched towards the weights area.
Oh, let's start with the bench press.
I love to lift weights, said Himaku.
That's fine. I will go first, replied Cheekio. After every exercise, add a little more weight. I want to see if I can break my record,
laughed Cheekio as he stared into the mirror and admired his physique. Cheekio began to lift the weight.
1, 2, 3,
he said.
8, 9, 10,
he finished.
Add more weight. I feel strong,
said Cheekio as he concentrated on the task ahead. Himaku added some more weight and they all gathered closely and watched. Cheekio closed his eyes and continued.
1, 2, 3,
counted Cheekio, his eyes closed in deep concentration.
8, 9, and 10,
screamed Cheekio as the weights crashed down.
Add some more weight,
shouted Cheekio. Clink, clink, the sound of metal on metal as the weights were added. Cheekio pushed with all his strength and his eyes remained shut in deep concentration. But the weights would not budge. He took a deep breath and pushed again. Still, the weights rested.
What's going on?
demanded Cheekio as he gasped for breath.
What's the matter? This gym is not for wimps like you.
Cheekio opened his eyes and quickly realised that his 3 friends were not there. Instead, facing him was a very large beast. It was Lizarov Lion. Lizarov circled the machine where Cheekio lay. Cheekio was frozen to the bench and dared not move.
In the corner of his eye, he could see Elzina, Himaku and Zedgarn hiding behind the vending machine.
How dare you come into my gym, you feeble little monkey, roared Lizarov.
I only came to get fit, Your Highness. I did not know this was your gym, replied Cheekio as he slowly got up from the bench.
Everything is mine. I am king of the jungle, and I own everything that is in it, snapped Lizarov as he pointed out of the window. I am going to teach you a lesson you will never forget. I haven't forgotten the way you humiliated me once before, when you painted me pink, roared Lizarov as he looked at himself admirably in the mirror. Cheekio looked at his friends, cowering, and chuckled quietly. Please don't hurt me, Your Highness. I have a gift for you that will make you stronger, said Cheekio as he reached into his bag. What can you give me that I have not got already? Roared Lizarov.
Carefully, Cheekio removed the label from the honey jar and showed it to Lizarov.
What is this?
Asked Lizarov as he examined the jar.
Let me show you,
replied Cheekio nervously as his friends looked on.
Can you lift me up?
Asked Cheekio.
Of course I can,
replied Lizarov in astonishment. Lizarov lifted Cheekio without any effort.
There, satisfied?
Boasted Lizarov. Cheekio tried to open the jar, but was unable to do so as it was tightly shut.
Can you open the jar, please?
Asked Cheekio, looking ashamed.
Piece of cake,
replied Lizarov as he opened the jar without any effort. Cheekio rubbed some of the contents onto his hands and then asked Lizarov to lift him again. To Lizarov's amazement, he was unable to lift Cheekio. Lizarov tried and tried, but he could not lift Cheekio even by an inch. The three friends emerged from their hiding place and watched the event unfolding.
Give that to me,
said Lizarov as he reached for the jar and began to cover himself in the sticky honey.
This is going to make me stronger,
he roared as he pushed by all the four friends and headed out towards the jungle.
What was in the jar?
Asked Elzina as she watched Lizarov walk into the jungle outside.
It was only honey,
laughed Cheekio.
But what just happened? How did Lizarov not manage to lift you?
Asked Himaku as he scratched his head.
Was it magic?
Asked Zedgarn, looking confused.
When Lizarov lifted me the first time, it was easy. But when he lifted me the second time, after I put honey onto my hands, pretending it had magical power, he was lifting me and the heavy barbell, as I had my tail wrapped around the bar as he lifted me,
laughed Cheekio.
It was a kind of magic,
chuckled Cheekio as they all headed out of the gym. In the distance, they could see Lizarov running and screaming, chased by a swarm of angry bees. They all erupted into laughter. The end.